5 tracks, dat is het aantal nummers dat iemand mag kiezen als hij in 5 Essential Tracks zit. Vandaar namelijk de naam 5 Essential Tracks. Heel simpel. Bastille, guys, welcome to the Pinkpop Festival.
Thank you.
Track number 1. Is this whoever chose the track gets to defend it?
Defend it? Alright. I'll go with Paul Simon's Boy in the Bubble.
There's nothing much to defend about that one.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Next question.
This is gonna be real quick.
So why this song?
Well, it's he's an artist, and obviously Graceland in particular is an album that we all massively love and respect, and we probably have quite obvious influences in places in some of our music. Been lucky enough to kind of see him perform a couple of times as well in the last couple of years, and I think he's just a phenomenal artist, really.
I think his way of kind of writing narrative music and these weird obscure little stories I think is brilliant. And Graceland is obviously a really interesting album in that like the sound is very much one thing and it's got this quite Afrobeat African sound, but then actually the lyrics are really American, and I think there's a kind of seriousness to it and a levity as well that I think is really interesting and really engaging, and he sort of does things in quite a weird way, but there's always a sense of fun about it. And I think that's something that I think all of our songs are really fucking depressing, but there's also a sense of like optimism and a sense of fun in there as well. I think that that definitely is inspired by someone like him.
These are the days of miracle and wonder. This is a long distance call. The way the camera follows us in slow mo. The way we look to us all. Oh yeah.
We went to Graceland, or as they say in Graceland. We went there like a month or so ago, and basically just had that song in our head the entire time. Like, I know it's a real cliche and it's probably like touristy, but like on the bus on the way to Graceland singing "We're going to Graceland," But that's it. I think that was when I sort of really thought about how weird it is that this music is so famous for its kind of, its controversy around the making of the album and the sound of it. But actually, like lyrically, it's about something so far away. Anyway, Paul's long story short, having to pick one Paul Simon track, but that's one that I think we all kind of agreed upon.
Track number 2.
So, Metronomy, The Look.
I don't know that one.
It was a song that dropped at the perfect time. We were touring and we needed the sort of music and stuff. It was when we were still driving around ourselves, just us four in a car, and it was one of the albums, and
it's from the album's called The English Riviera. Mm-hmm. It's wicked, but sorry. And it just released at the perfect time. We're looking for some car music, and The Look in particular, like it starts off with just such a like, as in like instantly you know what song it is, like right when you hear it, it'll make sense what I'm doing. It was just a great song, and we just all fell in love with it, and that was right at the beginning of our kind of touring experience, and it was always one of the songs that we would all agree on in the car, because when everyone's trying to fight what music to play, and I was like, okay, yeah, of course, let's put that song on, and like even now whenever we hear it, it's such a flashback. It's amazing.
Just remember how we shook. And all the things we took. This time's the oldest friend of mine.
Yeah, I mean, it was like Carl said, it was basically that song and the 2001 Dr. Dre album were basically just on repeat. Weirdly, it was like the whole Dre album, then that song, then the whole Dre album. I think it was because it was like the car that we had only had a CD player, and we had like just this weird mixtape CD of Dr. Dre and Metronomy, and so that just was the soundtrack to our whole thing. And basically, like, Will and Kyle can't drive, so it was just me. Well, you can now. Yeah, well done. So it's like me and Woody doing the driving, and these two just asleep in the back with us, just with these songs like on loop.
I mean, if you get to drive, you get to pick the music.
You probably thought exactly. I mean, you probably thought we maybe could have bought some more CDs, but we were poor skint musicians at the time, man.
And it makes a better story.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
If only it was just a story, but actually it was true. So.
Third track.
So we picked Power by Kanye West because our our new album is sort of, and you know, we have a history of doing mixtapes, and we've done 3 before, and our new album sort of feels a bit like a mixtape as well. Like it kind of flows, and there's I guess we took a bit of inspiration from people like Kanye West, who do kind of modern, interesting hip hop, where he sort of doesn't really care about jumping between genres and incorporating other sounds. So for the first time, we've used samples, we've used samples from films, we've used kind of other voices on the record to give it a kind of texture. And there's also a song called Power that is a kind of on our record that is basically a big nod to this Kanye tune. But it's just the production on it's brilliant. His use of sampling on it is amazing, and regardless of what you think of him as a rapper or his lyrics, I think that he, you know, in terms of what he's done for music, and in terms of his influence and you know, his ability to just really not give a shit about where he, you know, if he wants to be sampling Bon Iver 1 minute, he'll do that. If he wants to be sampling like an old soul tune, he'll do that. And if he wants to be making like really ugly, you know, noise that pushes boundaries, he'll do that too. And it's kind of, I think there's something in that, and in the ability to be like, I am who I am, and everything else around me can kind of change. I think there's something really cool in that.
No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power. Till then, that the world's ours.
What do you think of his concept that the life of Pablo, that the album in his mind was never finished? He kept on releasing new versions.
This terrified us a lot because, like, the problem finishing the second album for us has been a problem, mainly for Dan, who even in certain meetings would play songs to people and the lyrics had changed, and we were like, oh, okay, I don't know, like as in for us, we'd be like, oh, is that new? And then Dan would look over, yeah, I changed the lyrics. Okay, that's fine. And so now for one of the most influential people musically, I guess, for Dan, to be able to release an album and then change it, we don't need that door to be open. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's interesting. I think
I love that he's given people the chance to listen through the process of making the album, because you don't get that.
Yeah, it's quite nice and democratizing, and he sort of did it before with Good Fridays, where he would put out versions of tracks and then you'd see the album and it would be, you know, they'd be quite different. He had different features on them and stuff. And yeah, I mean, God, these guys know. I think when, like, with a band like us, when the production and the songs is so closely knit, and we're always in the studio working on stuff, you know, we keep revising and changing, and like I said, I keep being a nightmare and changing lyrics, but also, you know, just tweaking things and changing them and adapting them. And I think it can be really hard to let go.
But it's finished now, right?
Yes. It's being mastered for the 5th time.
Okay.
Today, because we keep changing
as we speak. Yeah.
But it's, I think what was quite cool with the life of Pablo was that process being a public one, because normally this all happens behind closed doors, and the idea of making an album is this sort of sanctified process that isn't seen or talked about. It comes out as a finished thing. And I think, you know, the way that we consume music through streaming and everything is changing so rapidly. You know, I guess he's kind of posing an interesting question in, you know, why can't the way we make it also be different?
Yeah. Track number 4.
Me and Woody, when we were teenagers, were the biggest Red Hot Chili Peppers fans in the world. So we're kind of quite excited because their dressing rooms are just next door to us. So I kept just shouting "Flea." He didn't answer. Bizarre. So I guess
he's shy. Yeah.
He's probably really shy. Yeah, that's it. It's not.
Will was just shouting his name.
Flea, 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 Flea. So I guess maybe we could jointly pick a Chili Peppers song.
I want to go for an old one that no one's heard for ages.
Yeah, Woody's going to throw in a curveball Chili Pepper song from when they weren't so well known.
Or a proper one. No Chump Love Sucker.
Even I don't know that one.
Just out of curiosity, what would you have gone for if Woody hadn't jumped in there?
What would I have gone for? Mellowship, Slinky and B minor.
This is really early stuff.
I mean, we're true fans. Him more than me, obviously, as I didn't know that one. Yeah.
just glad to I attest to your great matter.
I can totally hear Flea's influence on your bass playing.
On Bastille, yeah.
Yeah.
People always saying, God, if there's two funk rock virtuoso players in the world, it's Flea and Will from Bastille.
But normally the bass player in a band is not the most
Talented.
I wouldn't say. A lot of people, when they think about a certain band, there's always the lead singer and the bass player. I think a lot of people misunderstand how important bass is for a song.
Yeah.
But then you have like Pete Wentz. No, he's a singer of Fall Out Boy. No,
Fall Out Boy.
It's the
I'm not sure.
I think the thing with Will is that like on our stuff, bass is kind of quite front and center.
Yeah.
Musically, like on our new single, it's sort of the riff is on the bass, and there's quite a lot of stuff like Send Them Off as well. There's a good 2 or 3 songs on the new album where.
So basically, I'm the new Flea, is what we're saying.
Yeah. But also you used to, like, when we first started, I absolutely hated doing shows and being on stage. I was really shy. And so the way to get around it was that I used to sit at the back of the stage with my back to the audience, and Will would stand at the front
And
playing the bass.
but I think people, because obviously they could hear singing and I wasn't singing, I think they thought that I was miming and had forgotten to mime. So it's hugely embarrassing.
Is there footage of these shows?
No, I don't think so.
I fucking hope not.
It'd be amazing if there was.
Anyway, so yeah, we're doing our best to make bass the most important instrument.
Yeah.
In not only our band but the world.
All hail the bass.
All hail the bass, yeah.
5th and final track for the 5 essential tracks by Bastille, the band.
We're gonna pick a James Blake song.
But like what? Like how old?
Because he's on our minds. We saw him recently play a show. But he's got 3 albums now. Or you can go old, you can go CMYK.
CMYK. Should we do CMYK? Yeah. CMYK, James Blake.
Why that song?
I mean, that was one of the songs that was from, like, I guess, in like a pop sense, like, I guess, like, his least accessible. So as in, it was kind of when me and Dan were like right in the depths of the sort of like our electronic stuff, and it was like. Before, obviously, then his second album came out, and it was a bit more accessible and a bit more, I guess, like structured and kind of more soulful and a bit more. It was just really experimental, and it was just really it was brand new. It was like I hadn't heard anything like it before.
Thing with James Blake is I mean he's got an amazing voice. He's an incredible producer who I think is quite kind of pioneering in what he does. And he writes really good songs. So he's sort of like, and fucking hell, seeing him live, he's the most incredible musician. So he's kind of got it all, bastard. But he's amazing. And I think that CMYK tune was from. I think it was from an EP before his first record, and it was just part of him developing this sound that has kind of now seeped into popular culture in such a big way. But being someone chopping vocals, like using organic sounds, sort of post dubstep, all heavy bass. It's stuff that. Being a fan of his music and of that kind of genre, it seeped into some of what we do, and it's in some of our stuff. I think the ability to be kind of mournful and soulful, and also have me messing around with production, having a beat, and using the voice in different ways. I think
even down to like a sort of mixing level, like if like when you hear the song, if you hear what he's decided is really loud and what isn't, is so. It's not ordinary in any sense. It's really weird. He does a Bills remix, and like halfway through,
Destiny's Child.
And just halfway through, there's like this kind of like quick solo, like synth rundown that's louder than anything else, and almost in the entire track. And it goes dun, 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 and it comes out of nowhere, and it's massive, and like he just decided that's gonna be the loudest, like just gonna turn that right up. We should have picked BTSTU as well,
by J. Paul.
Even if we haven't, we've kind of said it now. So
1, 2, make it 6.
Throw it in.
That's also amazing.
What's the story about that song?
I mean, it's sort of from the same era, but I think he's a really interesting enigma, J. Paul, who put a song out online and it just captured everyone's imagination. And I think it's been hugely influential through kind of British music and sort of international music from. The combination of like songwriting, production, like live guitar, beats, sampling, sort of fucking with the sound a bit. It's kind of echoed through so much music, and so I think he was kind of, if you're going to be gross about it and sort of articulate there was a kind of modern alternative R&B movement, I think he was very much at the forefront of it, but never capitalized upon it. He only released 2 songs, and they're both amazing. And it's just, I think someone like him, it's so interesting in a modern era of social media and musicians sort of giving everything away. It's so interesting to have someone who, didn't even release his album. He was too cool to even release his own album. And has been so influential just through 1 or 2 little.
Might not be the path to world domination.
No, but I think I think the people like him and James Blake, in terms of modern young like creatives, I think they've had huge influence, because I think they're the kind of acts that musicians love as well, and like people in bands and songwriters love and take influence from, and so it's also just a fucking awesome song.